1239 Vladimir III Rurikovich, Grand Prince of Kiev b. 1187. In 1324 Andrew Harclay, 1st Earl of Carlisle, English knight and military leader, won Battle of Boroughbridge, hung, drawn and quartered for treason 1. In 1459 Ausiàs March, Catalan poet of Valencian literature, dies at 59. In 1554 Johann Friedrich, the generous, Elector of Saxony 1532-47, and head of the Protestant Confederation of Germany, the Schmalkaldic League, dies at 50. In 1580 Jacob Hillebrand, Dutch mayor of Groningen, dies. In 1635 Philips der Espinoy, historian, mayor of Ghent, dies. 6 Mughal Emperor 1658-1707, led the Mughal Empire to its greatest extent during his reign, dies at 88. In 1717 Pierre Allix, French-British theologist vicar, dies at about 75. In 1744 Jean Barbeyrac, French jurist. In 1765 William Stukeley, English physician and archaeologist, pioneered investigation of Stonehenge and Avebury, dies at 77. In 1766 Gregor Werner, Austrian Baroque composer and Kapellmeister, dies at 73. In 1768 Nicola Antonio Porpora, Italian composer and voice teacher, dies at 81. In 1792 Robert Adam, Scottish architect and designer, Adelphi Terrace, London, dies at 63. In 1800 Johann Baptist Christoph Toeschi, German composer, dies at 64. In 1806 Heinrich Christian Boie, German author and editor, dies at 61. In 1808 Johann Christian Fabricius, Danish entomologist, dies at 63. In 1822 Franz Adam Veichtner, German violinist and composer, dies at 81. In 1824 Giovanni Battista Viotti, Italian violinist and composer, dies at 70. In 1848 Heinrich Olivier, German painter, dies. In 1850 Oliver Cowdery, American religious leader, Latter-day Saint apostle, dies at 43. In 1855 James Sevier Conway, American politician, first governor of Arkansas 1836-40, dies of pneumonia complications at 58. In 1855 Robert Mills, American engineer and architect, Washington Monument on the National Mall, dies at 73. In 1858 Jozsef Bajza, Hungarian poet and critic, dies at 54. In 1864 Ulric Dahlgren, Union colonel, dies in battle at 21. In 1878 Joseph Bonomi the Younger, English artist and Egyptologist, dies at 81. In 1883 Elizabeth Arsikel, German soprano opera singer, muse of Beethoven Fr. Elise, and the wife of the composer Johann Baptist, dies at 89. 1889 Edward Sidney Smith, British pianist and composer, dies at 49. In 1894 Ned Williamson, American baseball player, Chicago White Stockings, dies at 36. In 1902 Isaac Dignes Frans van der Put, Dutch politician, Prime Minister of the Netherlands 1866, dies at 79. In 1908 Carl Joseph Rudolph Cornley, German Jesuit biblical scholar, dies at 77. In 1920 Theodor Philippson, Danish painter, dies at 79. In 1921 PJH, Pierre Kuipers, Dutch architect, Amsterdam Museum, dies at 93. In 1926 Cyril Metoder Trasdira, Czech composer and conductor, dies at 58. In 1927 J.G. Paratomus, Welsh auto racer, world land speed record 1926 170 mph 270 km/h, dies in land speed record attempt at 42. In 1927 Mikhail Artzybashev, Russian writer b. 1878. In 1928 James Bullis, Scottish golfer, US Open 1896, dies at 56. In 1928 Jan-Jean T. Turop, Dutch graphic artist, Three Brides, dies at 69. In 1930 Giulfieri Maserati, Italian auto racer and engineer, established Maserati Racing, dies from poorly executed kidney surgery at 44. In 1932, Eugen D. Albert, English-German pianist and composer Tiefland, Der Golem, dies at 67. In 1934, Norman O'Neill, English theatrical composer Mary Rose and conductor, dies from injuries sustained after being struck by package delivery tricycle at 58. In 1935, Neville Knox, cricketer bowled in 2 tests for England 1907, dies. In 1941, Constant W. L. Schulier, archaeologist, banker, art expert, dies at 59. In 1941, Ernst Kahn, owner of Amsterdam Cocoa Ice Cream Parlour, executed. In 1942, Andio, Italian Duke of Aosta, military officer and Viceroy and Governor-General of Italian East Africa 1937-43, dies while a prisoner of war at 43. In 1945, Arthur van der Poorten, Belgian politician, Minister of Internal Affairs 1940, dies at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp at 61. In 1945, Jacobus H. Speenhof, Dutch cabaret singer, killed in the RAF's bombing of the Bezuidenhout at 75. In 1948, Antonin Artaud, French songwriter and director Theatre Seraphine, dies at 51. American heavyweight boxer, dies at 77. In 1955, Catherine Drexel, American philanthropist and Roman Catholic saint, dies at 96. In 1956, Mihailo Vuktragovi, Serbian composer, conductor and pedagogue, dies at 55. In 1956, Willem Hendrik Hissem, Dutch physicist helium I Roman II, dies at 79. In 1960, Sammy White, American comedian and actor 711 Ocean Drive, Sound Off, dies at 65. In 1961, Paul Wittgenstein, Austrian-American concert pianist who adapted to left-hand only after losing right arm in WWI, dies at 70-1. In 1962, Karen Ray Wilson, Canadian politician and diplomat, first woman appointed to Canadian Senate 1930, dies at 77-1. In 1965, Carlo Gatti, Italian musicologist Verdi, dies at 88. In 1966, Alice Pierce, American Emmy Award-winning comedian and actress on The Town, Bewitched Mrs. Kravitz the First One, dies from ovarian cancer at 48. In 1966, William Frawley, American vaudeville, silent, and sound screen actor I Love Lucy Fred, My Three Sons Bob, Miracle on 34th Street, dies of a heart attack at 79-1. In 1967, Georges Lonck, Belgian composer, dies at 66. In 1969, Fred Alexander, American tennis player, Australasian Sea Ship 1908, 5-time US Indoor winner, dies at 88. In 1973, Vera Panover, Russian author and journalist Sputniki, dies at 67. In 1974, Barbara Rick, American actress Carousel, Phyllis Fagan, and singer Jerry Conner Show, dies of an aneurysm at 43. In 1974, Frank Wilcox, American actor Beverly Hillbillies, dies from a heart attack at 66. In 1976, Alfred Shendry, Hungarian-American organist, conductor, musicologist, and composer,